Welcome to Feel Like You Belong. We are on site today at the Grand Rapids Ballet to talk about international dancing and a special upcoming program being put on by the Grand Rapids Ballet about diversity this winter. We're here today with Yuka Oba. Yuka, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. So now you started dancing when you were young in Japan. About what age did you start?
About 6.
Okay. Okay. And did you keep up dancing when you were doing that? Because dancing is a rigorous undertaking.
Right. Yeah. It was really busy, because I don't know. I was really love dancing, so I didn't think about being professional dancer. But since when I started, I was like, oh, this is so much fun, and I just working hard as much as I can, just because I loved it. And
so now when you're starting to dance and you're getting you recognize you like it and you're getting skill, you have to do more and more days of dancing and kind of cut out other activities.
Right, because I used to do a lot of stuff like a piano or swimming or track, but I had to cut out everything to just spend time for ballet as much as I can. So I did almost Monday through Sunday. Monday through Friday is a normal ballet class, and Saturday, Sunday was a special rehearsals and coaching. So
often 7 days a week.
Yeah, my studio was my second house basically.
Okay. Now when did you have to decide? Because you said most people decide, yes, I'm going to go for ballet and I'm going to do this very vigorously. But you decided a little bit later.
Yes, because I always I don't know, I can't really decide stuff really fast. Even in the restaurant, I can't decide chicken or beef. So same thing for ballet. I couldn't commit myself because I wasn't sure if I'm good enough to be able to become ballet dancer. So I was waited. But about 16, everyone is already going to different country to study ballet, but I was I don't know. And then about 16, I was okay, I gonna do this.
You made the commitment. Okay.
I was I'm scared, but I should try because I really love this. So
Sure. And had your teachers been pushing you, or did they give you space to decide?
They're pushing me just a little bit, but also they knew I was little bit in between, so they waited for me to make answer. But they often asked me what do you want to do? But I appreciated how they I don't know, waited for me.
Okay, waited for your decision making to catch up with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not sure and if I started to try something because I'm not committing yet, so it's not gonna be good for me anyway.
So then you were accepted to a ballet school in London. Yeah. What did your parents think of that?
I think they're happy, but also they're worried in same time, because it's not just being I go to somewhere far, but it's different country, so you can't really go there in one day, or you have to. So.
And their precious little girl is going across the continent, across the ocean. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
But they're happy about it. They're always supportive and oh, how are you doing? But also they never pushed me to any direction. Oh, you should be a ballet dancer, or you should be something else, or you should study more. Or they just accepted who I am and what I want to do, and so I really appreciate.
Gave you the freedom. That's wonderful.
Yes.
So how many years did you study in London?
About 2 years.
Okay. Okay. And when you left London, you got asked to dance in Slovakia.
Yes.
Okay. So talk about that change.
It was big change for me, because it's just the people in England and people in Slovakia was really different. Just the way they act and stuff. But later though, I realized that it's not that different if you know somebody really well. If you communicate well, they start to showing you their personality. And I was oh, this is nothing different than Japan. You have personality similar to my friend in Japan. So I was oh, this is interesting. You look so much different than Japanese, but you're yeah, we have similar sense of, I don't know, communication or kindness or funny or sad, any stuff that we feel, like emotional wise, we are the same. So that was, I don't know, that was really cool to notice that.
So you were dancing 2 years in Slovakia,
Yes.
and then you got invited to come to Grand Rapids, Michigan. Now you're in your 7th season here?
Yes.
Wow.
Time flies.
Yeah, okay. So you're having fun dancing with the Grand Rapids Ballet.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because every year it's like so different. We get to dance so much different styles, and it's challenging every year. I never get bored here, so that's why I think I'm staying here a really long time.
Very good. Well, you seem to have adapted well. One of the biggest changes for you was American English, because
Right.
living in London, they're speaking British English, and most around the continent
Right.
of Europe, they're speaking a kind of British English.
Yes, I was really confused when I came here because I thought I could speak English or I could understand a little bit of English, but I couldn't understand at all. I was like, oh, what are they saying? Like they're speaking so fast and different, but it was fun to learn different.
Sure, and luckily you make your living by physical expression, so
Yes,
you had time
that helped a
for
lot.
English to catch up a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about this wonderful production that's coming up this winter. There at Move Media, there are 2 different parts, and it's the theme is diversity this year. The first one has 3 different dances, 3 different choreographers, and then the second one has in March has again 3 different choreographers. And you're just starting to learn your roles
Yes.
about this, but some of the themes were individuality and acceptance, gender roles and heteronormativity, dignity, and the story of Henrietta Lacks, which I find is a really moving story, and life of a child with autism. So really, across the diversity spectrum, some really challenging themes. What themes are you working with in your roles that you're starting to learn?
So for now, the gender equality one, but also we did this like a bully and suicide theme,
And bullying is a big topic today.
yes.
Yeah, and not just in the United States, I think
In Japan too.
universally.
Yes, everywhere. So this is really such a deep like questions and everything. So even dancing through it, it's not easy. It's just like we can't just do the steps the choreographer gave us. We have to like express something that we feel inside too. So, and each choreographer has like really different opinions about things, and then some point they experience the theme like themselves too. So it's like talking about their stories and.
So, for example, did some of the choreographers experience bullying?
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever like they're younger, like they got really like hard bullying because they're like gay or lesbian or like a lot of reasons there.
And I think sometimes kids who are artistic, musical, or they do the arts, the visual arts or performing arts, other kids feel free to pick on them.
Right. Just because they're so different, they're unique, I feel like people try to like almost delete them because they're so special. Like they don't want to look special thing, I guess. But so when some choreographer made like bunch of like a lot of people do the same thing, but one people just do really different things, and we are like looking at them like really weirdly. Or so I think if people came to see the show, like if you have no idea how people feels like whenever that like bullying happens and just one people pick at it, you're gonna be able to see like how it's like from outside. Sometimes you never see those because kids are in school, so you don't get to see kids like bullying like that. Or if you had some experience like that before, like if you come to see the show, or if you couldn't like share your experience, like I'm having bullied right now, or if you come here, like I think they get to connect with us a little bit. also because we don't get to talk on stage, so we have to experience like with our body and motions, and that's more expressive sometimes because you see like visually. So I think that's cool thing.
And I should mention that the Move Media productions every year are contemporary dance, not traditional ballet.
Right.
So, which is another challenge for your whole group.
Right.
But maybe also fun because you get to do a different style of dancing.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's no limit too, and that's really fun because we can always like push ourselves to different limit. And also we have to be really open to different choreographers because everyone has different style, different opinions and stuff. So we can't just hang on to like my style, which is really comfortable because it's my style. It's like I can just do naturally, but I always have to open up like my, I don't know, my door, window, and try to get to have really different one. Even I feel really uncomfortable, you never know, like you get used to it and you understand like what they want to try to say with their bodies, and I can learn from them. So I think this theme too, like diversity, if you're like just like hang on to just your ideas, that creates like a lot of problem. Like you have to open up your mind and you have to understand there's so many different people exist, and just accept like they're different, I'm different.
But that's really part of your job as a dancer because from role to role to role, these are so many different identities that are not you.
Right.
But your job is to take them on.
Right. I just sometimes have to let it go of my ego, the pride. It's like, oh, this looks weird, I don't want to do this, or like I can't do that, like I shouldn't do this. So it's like same thing as like normal life, or like I go to different countries, every time same thing. I can't just be like, oh, I'm Japanese, so I'm not going to do this, or like I can't just say that.
Right.
So I have to accept like all the cultures and then see like what they're going to react, what if I did something like this, or if they did something to me, like how I feel. And you just have to be really open for everything as a dancer, but for person.
Absolutely. Well, before I have one last topic area to go to before we wrap up, but for our viewers, they need to know that they can order their tickets at grballet.com, and we'll put that URL on the screen so that people can see that and hopefully come experience this with you in several different roles this winter in Grand Rapids. So, last question. You have been in Grand Rapids 7 years now, and as it sometimes happens with young people, we fall in love. You met an American fellow named Daniel.
Yes.
Your parents don't speak English. Daniel's learning Japanese. How is that coming along?
Yeah, it takes time. Japanese is not easy language to learn. And also English too, for us, like it's really different language. So they both try to learn like their language, and it's really, cute to see them like try to learn, my parents and Daniel, but I try to help them as much as I can.
You're working overtime as an interpreter when you get together.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so final question, there are kids who come to, say, the Nutcracker every Christmas, and they sit there, the young children, mesmerized, and then they think, oh, I want to be a ballet dancer. What advice do you have for them?
Just try whatever you feel like this is cool, and then don't be afraid to try something new, even you feel uncomfortable, or maybe this is like I'm doing something wrong. They just don't think about it, just try it, and then try again and again, and don't give up, and then just see what's going to happen.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're going to have to leave it there, but I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy rehearsal schedule to talk with us here.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
It was really nice.
For our viewers watching on TV, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment with some tips on American English, American culture, and a little bit of humor. And for those people watching on the internet, please join us for coming episodes where we continue our conversations with the amazing immigrants who make the United States a better place.